Maher.
So hello, we're all here.
Hey, how are you? So I'm a bit late. How are you? Good? So we do have 4 speakers, right, today?
Yes.
Well, one point, if I can just...
Arnoud, yeah, you came a couple of times. We'll give you a couple of minutes if you wish, and then you can participate in the discussion. I will give more time for the ones who come for the first time. My name is Maher. Chebbo. We'll do a quick round of introductions at the beginning. Then we'll give you the floor, each of you, to take like 10 minutes to set up your key messages, what you are looking for, how the other people who are part of this network, of this club, of this DAO digital platform could cooperate with you. Whether if you are an investor, what could be also the recommendations for them, and then if you are an advisor or you are a startup, what you are looking for, and how people can be with you. I will be asking questions to every one of the speakers, and then at the end I will open it for more discussion among the different speakers, or speakers can also comment on what they heard from the other speakers. So we have about 90 minutes. I will start by introducing myself. So my name is Maher Chebbo. I'm in the digital business for the last 30 years at Capgemini, and then SAP for 21 years, and GIOS for 3 years. And I sit on different committees, like helping the European Commission in the digitalization of Europe and digital transition of the energy sector, for instance. And I speak frequently on the AI, machine learning, blockchain, and different technology topics on the market. And was happy when Dimitri here asked me to chair this event and help here into building the community as well around this nice initiative, which is DAO.digital. Before I go to the other speakers, I would like to say we have a chat box here. So people will see this recording and they will see your names, they will see what you said, and they can have the full picture if you can provide information, a link, maybe to your profile somewhere, your email if you wish, also links to things you will be mentioning in your speech where it's worth for them going and getting more information. So then they will get the full story, your name, your speech, your picture, and also all the information provided in the chat. If you agree, then we can jump. Maybe Dimitri, do your introduction first. Sorry, yeah.
Quick point. I've invited Claus Skaaning in here from DigiShares to basically be the speaker. I was going to interview him, but maybe it's easy if I just drop out and let him talk. What do you think?
It's your call. Fine.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll basically give up my space to Claus, and I know Claus, I was going to interview you, but it sounds like by the format, if it's okay with you, that
totally
you
fine.
Do your own
totally
stuff.
Fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Speak later.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, Dimitri, maybe you can say a few words also about the platform yourself.
Yeah, for sure. So let me introduce a little bit about myself. So have probably 10 years experience in digital business. So was helping with e-commerce stores, e-learning, digital marketing, then moved to crypto space, now discovering decentralized autonomous organizations. So authorized Zoho partner, so I'm implementing the digital solutions from the Zoho Corporation, the major Indian company that provides digital tools. Now actually building the platform DAO.digital. So this is the platform that helps connecting experts with startups, with founders, with investors, and basically this is the platform that helps connecting people with each other and helps finding the resources for doing different projects, different connections, and etc. So I'm really glad that see you here on our before our event. So basically event is the first place for us to start. So we're starting with the event that starts next week. Next we will launch our decentralized autonomous organization, and all experts that are joining us so will be a part of this decentralized autonomous organization. So I'm really glad you see you here. So basically, let's start. Okay.
Great. Klaus?
Yes, hello, nice to meet you. Yeah, so my name is Claus. I'm based in Denmark. I have a PhD in computer science, and I have written and applied for and been granted around 7 patents. I've also been in the AI space before. I've started an AI company around 15, 20 years ago, and successfully grown it to exit. The last 3 years, I've been in the blockchain space, focused on tokenization. So the company I'm running now is called DigitalShares. It's basically, I would say, it's one of the leaders in Europe in tokenization, one of the most recognized brand names. So what we do is that we provide basically a white label platform for tokenization with a focus on security token issuance, corporate management, and internal trading. So we provide this software platform as a technical platform to asset managers, investment fund managers, real estate fund managers, and so on, so they can use it to tokenize their assets and to achieve the benefits of more digitized, more automated processes and higher liquidity in their projects and potentially easier access to different types of investors. And also the ability to democratize the access to investments because they can reduce the ticket size and still easily manage projects with many, many investors. So that's what we do, and I guess we get to other elements later on.
Absolutely. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Then Arnoud?
You are muted.
Maher, can we move to Evgeny? So because Evgeny is really tight today on time, so let's move to Evgeny, and then we'll move to others.
Okay, fine.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dmitry. So my name is Evgeny Korolev, and I'm the founder of the Pitch School, and we help startups to prepare pitch presentations and connect them with investors. So work with several international conferences and corporate accelerators and private accelerators. And so the goal is to make presentations not only look good, but also to deliver the values which startups create and explain to investors why it makes sense to invest in these startups.
Good. And you have been doing that for how long? For how many years?
So I've been doing startup presentations for 2 years, and public speaking on the presentations for business for about 6 years.
Okay.
So
And
I used my previous experience to dive deep into the venture world and stick to the startups.
And these are startups in the technology, broad sense of technology, I would say.
Mostly technological startups.
But could be anyone as well.
Yeah, so for example, one of the startups I pitched was Crab Leader. They work with French restaurants and supplied them with live crabs. So yeah, okay. Sometimes it's really strange, but cool startups.
That's good. Great. Who's next? Sergey?
Right. Who's next? Maybe me? Dmitry, if you don't mind, yeah. Hello, nice to meet all of you. My name is Sergey Sevantsyan. I am public keynote speaker. I am organizer of huge amount of the conferences worldwide. Now I am founding one of the best, in my opinion, one of the best DAO CIO. We are organizing event every day at 50 p.m. at Moscow time, and we are called Collective Intelligence Opinion. We are trying to help startups. Our mission is working as mentors, and now we're looking for the best companies which are trying to find the right way how to turn out from this difficult situation which appears worldwide. Now I am I am working from the two companies. One of them is the Self-Frame and another one is On Life. I'm working for them as Chief Information Officer, and I am also investors in the two companies as well. I'm really glad to see all of you and my pleasure to be introduced in your great event.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Arnoud. You are on mute. So you can speak about your Dutch foundation.
Excuse. Yeah, there I am. Arnoud Berghuis, co-founder of the Dutch Blockchain Language Organization. Background is after an academic degree, long worked in a commercial environment, had an IPO, then went back to the university, have done research in this field. And there is where the initiative of the Dutch blockchain language comes from. It's an academic spin-off, and that's where I stand from. That's what I talk about. It's a language layer on top of the blockchain, and I will talk a little bit more later about that.
Thank you. So, Dimitri, how do we do this? Evgeny, who's tied, should I give you the floor at the beginning, then you tell us more about what you're doing to help the startups, maybe?
Yeah, okay, let's move to Evgeny. So he's tight on time for today. So, and
Okay.
basically I could tell a few words about the topic of startups, that how we could be available for them as well. So Evgeny, your floor is.
Okay, great, thank you.
So kindly tell us, please.
Would you ask me any question, or I should just briefly describe?
Yeah, my question to you is, and then you can illustrate with that is what are the from your experience in the last years, what's the learning from the mistakes, for example, that the startups were doing before you come and then you advise them, the mistakes that they were doing, and how you could change them into something which could be attractive for the investors. Second, how much time it takes, how is the process, what's the standard process for that? And then once the investor, for example, comes in the game, do you continue advising them afterwards for the second and third phase, or first round, or second or third round of fundraising and so on? Tell us how you follow and you engage with the startups for the whole cycle of growth.
So to start with, I would like to show some of the main questions which startups do in their pitch presentations. And the first mistake is that the startups, usually founders, love their product so much that they just don't want to see the real situation, and they don't compare with other people, with other startups, and say that we are the best, we don't have competitors, our product is unique. And it's very funny when investors just Google the startup like this, and they found maybe 5 to 10 projects who do similar things, and some of them even better than this startup. So it's always a fail when the founder listens to it, and he just don't know when to answer because he's caught, he's trapped.
Yeah,
so this the second mistake is that the founders just don't prepare. They think that we know our product so well, and we worked on it for a long time, so we can just participate in the conference, and we won't prepare our presentation, we won't prepare our speech, and everything will be good. And then when they realize that, let's say 3 minutes or 5 minutes is over, and they still have to tell plenty of things about the startup, but already next participant is coming, so again they fail because the time is over and they could not deliver the value of what they do to investors. Mm-hmm. And the next mistake is that they don't pay a lot of attention to metrics and to unit economics. So they say how they will change the world and what are the key advantages of the projects, but they don't show the metrics. They don't show how much it costs for them to attract customers. They don't show how much they earn from these customers. And so investors can like the projects, but of course they want to know if would it be possible for them to get their money back. and it's much easier for them to understand when they see the dynamics before this time. So let's say if the startup pays $50 for paying clients and earn $500, it's a good startup. If it pays $50 and earn $10, of course they won't succeed. And the next mistake thing is regarding the presentation. When people try to put too much details into the presentation and they want to tell everything they know, and in this huge amount of information, people, usually investors, just get lost and they don't know what to pay attention to. And instead of getting the brief review of why the startup is interesting, they start to listen like the history of startup and things like that, which in my opinion, you should not put in your investor pitch presentation.
You should not put the history when they started and how they started and how they evolved. This is not the good thing.
No, this is not necessary. You may just put your traction. So let's say you started 5 years ago, and first you had 5 clients, and then you grew to 5,000 clients. So this is valuable. But if you start to speak that when we were with my friend in the college and we saw the problem and things like that, usually it's not necessary, and you spend too much time on these things instead of telling the things which create real value.
Okay.
And regarding the
yeah, go ahead.
How we help startups. So basically, we take all the information they have about their project and help to make a brief overview of what they do and why it makes sense to invest in this startup. So we show the key things about the startup, the advantages, the unit economics, the problems they solve and how they solve it, the market size, their business model, the key things about the team members. And using all this information, we give an investment offer, which is clear for investor, and we explain why they should give money to the startup and how they will earn more money in the near future.
Mm-hmm. The question is, do you find the founders of these startups open enough, listening enough to consider the negative comments that you are making? And then you didn't say anything about the people who are running the company. Yes, you have them presenting things and so, but sometimes even if they present it well, they shape it well, they improve the content, sometimes either you don't have the right people in place or the people who are in place are not capable to present it also properly. So what's your experience with that?
Great questions. Thank you for them. So the first question, of course, some of the startup founders are not ready to listen. And this is the big problem, because if they don't listen to me, usually they also don't listen to what investors say. And I've seen a lot of situations at the pitch competitions when founders pitch their project and then investors ask them questions. And instead of answering the questions, they just started to prove that they are right and investors are wrong. And of course, when investors see that the founders just can't pay attention to their words and they're completely in their own world and don't want to listen to anybody, they understand that when this product goes to the market and let's say they don't have enough sales, they don't have product market fit, they won't be able to improve the product this way to get this market fit, to get more sales. They will just do the same thing, and of course the competitors will beat them. So it's very important for founders to be open-minded, to be open to opinions from the experts and investors, but at the same time not just to take them as the there's the only right thing, but to analyze if it's correct, to compare it with their own view, and then based on this information, make their own decision. So combine their own view and the expert's view. And most of the founders, they are ready to listen, but of course, sometimes I meet people who say, okay, we want to improve our presentation, even though it looks like it was created in the 19th, because if the investors who really want to invest in our project, they will be able to understand what we do. They will be able to get our real value, even though we have so much text and we have terrible pictures and we can't really describe briefly what we do. So they just don't pay attention, and usually they fail because they can't explain why it's valuable to invest in this project. And regarding the second question, so it's a big problem when startup founders can't present their project. But in this case, how we can help? So first of all, we help founders with preparation to the pitch. So for example, I personally train founders, help them how to say, what to improve in this pitch to make it better. The second thing, sometimes it's better for the startup founder not to pitch. Usually in the team, they may have someone who pitches better than the founder. And in this case, in my opinion, it's usually better to give word to this person, so he speaks instead of founder. And the second thing, which I personally did a few times for the startups, when I pitched instead of the founder. So I worked as a like investor relations manager for the startup, and represented the startup on at the international conferences, and I was a speaker on behalf of the startup. And then investors who were interested in investing in this project, I just connected the investors with the startup founder and was a moderator of their conversation. And in this case, they get much better results because when the startup founder is a technical guy, it's usually hard for him to prepare, and maybe sometimes it's better just not to speak at all, but to find someone or to train someone who can do it.
Mm-hmm. In terms of the business plan, which includes the figures about what's the rate per month and what are the revenues and the growth of the revenues over time, what did you find? Did you find that the guys are pessimistic or very much optimistic, where they go very quickly into hundreds of millions or billions, for example? On Excel sheet, it looks exciting, but in reality, it is not. So what did you find out of that?
So what is better, to show more optimistic or pessimistic results?
No, well yeah, it's not. Your sentiment is most of these startups are overestimating the revenues, or are underestimating, or a bit more conservative, or it depends on the culture of these startups. If you have like maybe a German startup is not like an American startup, the numbers will look different. So
the startups I work with, they usually overestimate the future growth and future revenue. And even the startups I just analyzed, they also usually overestimate. So maybe in some cultures, as you said, like in Germany, yes, I was at the German pitch, and the founders, I can't say they underestimate, but they are more realistic, because it's in their culture to be more strict and realistic. But for most of the others, how they think if we show the good numbers, it will be better for investors to see how much we grow. And nobody really knows what will happen in 3 to 5 years. So let's put higher numbers, and then if we mistake, we just can say, okay, so our prediction was a bit wrong. Instead of putting low numbers, and investors will choose another startup with higher valuations.
Okay, you are engaged with startups that have been here for like 2 years, or some of them have been here for 6 or 10 years as well?
So mostly it's a startup at the beginning of the development. So it's from few months to maybe 3 years. So when we speak about the businesses who are for about 6 years on the market, of course they are more realistic, but I can't even call them startups. So I work with some of the projects like this, but I think they're like a real business who just needs money to grow. And they usually attract not venture capital money, but they are looking for private investors, or they are looking for corporations and big B2B clients, because their growth is not so fast, and they understand that for venture capital they're not so interested. And for the startups who still grow very fast for 3, 5, 6 years, it's usually round A or round B, and the process of attracting investment in these startups is completely different. So I mostly work with the seed stage and like early stage startups.
Okay. So what is the way to engage with you? If you start up, I mean, it could be more than 3 years. I have seen startups that have been there for 5 or 6 years without any revenue yet, still working on the product and working on adapting the strategy and so on. So, and they are still at this stage, they don't know how to present themselves to the investor, because the founder has been there for 6 years and he was trying to speak to many investors. And at the end, he believes that the whole world is stupid and he's the only one who is smart, who have a great technology. Investors did not understand him. The country where he lives did not support him. Politicians are dummy. So the whole world is against him. There is only one guy who was smart as himself. Okay. And he got in the wall. He had no more cash at the end, and then he still repeats the same recording. Okay, the same story. So I mean, just to say, I mean, it could be people who still after three years did not get it. So what's the best way to engage with you for a startup who are still struggling and are looking for investments and have to reshape their stuff? It's a consulting basis, it's results based.
To be honest, for the founder you described before, maybe it's better not to work with me, but to work with a psychologist, because I'm not sure I can help him if he did the same thing for 6 years. But for all the other founders who are ready to listen and who are ready to change their behavior, of course, we would be happy to help. And so basically, we have some fix for our services. So, for example, if you need to create a pitch presentation or you need pitch preparation, we have some fixed price for it. And then we charge a commission from attracting investment. So you pay a small fix at the start, and then usually around 5% from investment we help to attract.
Okay, so then a fixed price for reshaping the presentation, and then a percentage from the investment they get. If they get, I don't know, 100,000, so you take 5% of that.
Yes, if they did it with our help, so we help them to connect with investors, we participated in communication. If they just want to get a pitch deck and nothing more, so it's fixed price for the pitch deck and that's it.
Okay, and then when you go and then you speak on behalf of the startups at events, and then if there's somebody interested, you connect the investor with the startup. That's like a consulting base, or that's like a fixed package? Or...
It's preparation of itself and from investment. Definitely take. I personally, it's.
I lost you. I don't know if I'm the only one.
Yeah,
No.
since Evgeny
Yeah,
lost
he dropped out.
connection.
Okay,
Can you
but I
hear
think,
me now?
yes, can you repeat the last message?
That personally pitch startup and from my team pitch a startup. In this case, of course, we get fixed price for preparation of the pitch and for presentation itself, and we get a commission from the investment we help to attract.
Okay, great, thank you. You need to
Thank you
leave
very
now?
much.
You need to leave now?
Yes. Unfortunately, I knew about this meeting only today in the afternoon, so already have to jump to another one. But thank you very much for conversation.
You're welcome. We live in real time. Anybody wants to ask a question to Evgeny before he leaves? Thank you. That was great.
Thank you, Evgeny. We're going to attract startups for pitching on our event and later on platforms. So I hope you'll be the expert on this topic and talk with these startups, help them with the pitch and offer your services as well. So I kindly invite you to do this.
Yeah, I would be happy to help, as I told you before. So just write me when you have the startup and they need help.
I understood you have a lot of skills, but you are not a psychologist.
Not yet, but I'm learning. Yeah.
Thank you. Have a
Thank
great
you
day.
very much. Okay.
Should we jump to Claus, maybe?
Let's jump to Sergey. Sergey will should leave until 7
okay,
o'clock.
no, Sergey, that's fine as well.
Then we'll move to Claus. Claus, okay, thank you very much.
Claus, is, where are you based, Claus?
I'm based in Denmark. I'm ready whenever.
Yeah, I should have got it from the accent, sorry. And then Sergey, where are you based?
Sergey, your floor.
Guys, you talking to me?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sorry because here is too noisy. I don't know what's going on upstairs because someone's starting repairing his house around me, and really, I trying to find the right words to explain. What do I do now? I have to learn. I have to listen. One of the question from you, Maher.
I'm just yeah. Where are you based? Where is your location?
Now I am in Moscow. Now
okay.
I'm in Moscow. I don't know. I have to be. I should be at New York City in Manhattan, but unfortunately, I have to stay here.
No problem. I mean, there is nothing attractive in Manhattan, so stay where you are. Huh?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
I don't know why people get attracted to go to New York. So it's by the way dirty as well. So. So good. We give you the floor because anyway, Moscow time should be late as well. So we give you the floor and then you can make the pitch. Maybe my questions to you is to go more, in details when you present it yourself, how you get into the investment opportunities and what could be the recommendations for people who want to make business out of your experience. Mm-hmm.
Actually, I am personally as investors now don't have the right way where to spend the money, because for the beginning people around the globe now looking for the money which can spend for the food, for the health and something else, because very difficult situation around. But what do I do now for find a way how to improve our competencies and how to be helpful for the people around? What do? We are I'm personally attracting a lot of people in one space here in Zoom, as you are, as all of we are now spending our times in isolation to don't try to somehow be virus infected at this moment. And we are trying to help the companies, the startups, the businesses, the companies which are faced to this difficult situation around the globe. And we are just recognize our competencies. We're creating DAO, is decentralized autonomic organization. We are not based somewhere. Our base place is here in digital space, and we're trying to just via our skills, via our knowledge, via our just do something via this online event. We're trying to make the businesses much more better, because here situation around the globe is not understandable anyhow. A lot of companies, a lot of regulations telling some misunderstanding things to the people. I don't know what's happening in real time, because all of us now in isolation, trying to find out the right ways, trying to find the right information from the from the conversation with each other, from the news, from the Forbes, from the, I know, Trump, from Putin, from something else, because we are, as people who are just who are finding the right way, be informed. And what do? We're trying to do what we can and what we could in our specialization as professionals, and that's all what we do at this moment. We're trying to tokenize it. We're trying to tokenize our competencies, and we're trying to help the people around the globe. That's it. It's very simple idea. That's why I can't talk about it so much time as maybe Eugene can.
Mm-hmm. What are the sectors or the technologies that are of interest for you as an investor?
You know, you have to repeat the question.
No, what are the sectors or the verticals or sectors or the technologies where you are interested in? Is it everything, or you have
no. It's based on blockchain technology, is based on technologies. I'm talking about information technologies, and it's based on finance, not so much, a little bit, because when we're trying to, you know, investor have to spend his own money and his own knowledge in a sphere when he clearly understands what's going on inside. It's really good opportunity, and it's real good way. You know, all of you are hearing this noise. I'm sorry, guys.
A little bit.
I have to mute my microphone. I'm really sorry for the people upstairs, but I don't know. I think maybe a little bit later I can answer on your question.
Sergey, let me ask you if you can maybe draft a bit what you wanted to say on the chat. That would be great. Yeah.
Okay, I got your question. Yes, I see. I try to.
Thank you. So you can now mute yourself and go to Claus, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Claus, yeah, the floor is yours.
Do you have a question, or what should I say?
It's open. I mean, just go in the details, and then we'll ask you the questions as they come.
All right. Yeah, so like I mentioned, so what we're working on is also tokenization, but we are basically a software provider. We provide a software platform that can be used.
Je suis dans un call, mais c'est pas grave, mais dites-moi.
I'll wait a little bit.
Oui. Oui, c'est mon choix, oui. On est d'accord. Et puis après, je le capitaliserai.
Since Maher is on call right now.
Yeah. Let's give him a couple of minutes.
Yeah, you muted him.
Sorry, you got something urgent. Go ahead.
No problem. Yeah, so essentially we're also working with tokenization.
I cannot hear you.
Okay. I'm not on mute actually. I should be.
I can hear you now. It's fine.
Okay, great. Yeah, so we are also working with tokenization, but more from a technical viewpoint. So we provide a software platform that can allow companies to tokenize their securities or assets in some way. We are based in Europe, so we are primarily focused on the European regulation, and we are very much focused on sort of how legislation is developing around tokenizing equity and bonds. The platform is a system for managing the issuance process if you want to raise funds, but also the ongoing sort of corporate tokenized and holding tokens instead of traditional paper-based shares. So you can conduct shareholder meetings, manage any kind of electronic document workflow. You can maintain a shareholder register that is tracked from the blockchain itself. You can also do corporate actions like forcefully transferring tokens from one investor back to the company and so forth. So it has a lot of functionality of that type to allow an asset manager or real estate fund manager to manage on an ongoing basis, raise funds for new projects and sort of manage the group of shareholders in those projects. We also provide an internal trading function so you can get more liquidity in your projects when you use the system here to manage it. So basically we can help companies conduct STOs, but we also can provide a white label platform to anyone who would like to offer as a function or as a service in their own country or their own industry, STOs to their potential clients. So that's typically financial services type companies who are already working with existing fund managers in order to raise funds and create new funds, who can then sort of on a white label basis use our platform. We work together with legal partners around the world. We work within the standard security regulation around the world, so we need to be fully legal and fully compliant everywhere. The law in many countries is not ready yet for tokenization, but we are sort of continually tracking where it's possible to do it.
You are doing that out of the Aalborg University?
No, we were based in Aalborg, but and also working with the university, but not so much on blockchain, I would say. We're working with the Danish regulators on trying to understand it here, but we are sort of globally oriented and yeah, we have legal partners in many places.
I know you're in a university. A few years ago, I was invited as a speaker at the microgrid event at Aalborg. It looks like you have microgrid.
Yeah, it's a nice place. I do some work there myself from time to time. I got my PhD there, so I know it well.
But it's an impressive university. So then you are still involved with them, but these activities you are talking about are more entrepreneurship activities outside of Aalborg, right?
Oh yes, yeah, correct.
Okay, this is what you call the Digi shares.
Digi shares, yes.
Yeah. And this is an existing platform. This white label platform was already at which stage is it?
It's developed and it's operational. We have the first clients running on it. We just announced a Swiss client a couple of weeks ago that are sort of focused on the real estate industry and using a customized version of the platform for the Swiss legislation around tokenization, you could say. Okay. So yeah, it's very much operational, and of course we keep developing on it, but it's ready to use.
Okay, and this Swiss client in real estate, you said?
Yeah, they are sort of also working with real estate, but also in other areas. But I think the primary focus is on real estate.
And what's the use case? I mean, what's the benefit they will get from the platform? What's the use case out of that platform actually using blockchain?
Yeah, the general value proposition of tokenization is that you can digitize and automate a lot of processes in relation to the fundraise and the ongoing management of the fund itself, and that makes it possible for you to reduce the ticket size for investors because you can more easily manage a lot of investors in a single project. So whereas real estate investments now are typically from 100,000 euros and upwards, with tokenization, we think it can easily be reduced to maybe 1,000 or even 100 euros. So you have the capability to expand the scope of investors coming into your project and potentially make it easier to raise the funds, and also democratize the access to invest in real estate funds. The other benefit is that you will get more liquidity because we offer the trading platform. So Normally, if you invest into real estate projects, you are stuck with your investments for many years. But now, with our system here and also other systems out there, you can trade your assets immediately after buying them. So you can exit your investment much faster. So those are some of the values that investors should care about and should make it more attractive for them to go into this kind of projects.
Okay. Then, I mean, how big is the effort to build this platform? And then for building this platform, did you have already some inputs from these future customers like real estate and so on? Or did you build it out of an academic thinking, for example, and you said, we believe this is what the market needs?
That's a good question. I think it's a combination. So we actually learned about security tokens about 3 years ago from a conference in Germany, in Frankfurt. I think it was one of those conferences in Europe about the topic. And we were focused on building a tokenized collaboration platform to bootstrap startup companies. And in order to do that, we wanted to tokenize equity. So we went to this conference and we actually understood that the industry was in a very early stage. So maybe it was better for us to build software infrastructure to actually facilitate tokenization in more generally. So we started on that, and we had a lot of ideas for how to develop the platform. But I would say for maybe the last 1.5 years, the platform has been developed together with potential clients, potential customers. The Swiss customer we've been working with for the last 4 months, so they've been very closely tracking the development and guiding us in what kind of functionality they would need. And we have similar kind of input from many other clients that we have spoken to along the way.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Who funded this platform? Where did you raise the funds actually to go through that?
It's actually bootstrapped, so we self-funded it a lot of the way. So now we're doing an STO where we have raised some funding already that is sufficient for us sort of to keep running the company, and of course we are also starting to generate customer revenue. Okay,
and what's the effort? Just for my understanding, what's the effort to build such a platform, for example, which looks to be interesting because you got already the first customer and so on? What's the effort behind that? How many person days or it's
a good question. So we will never be finished, of course. So we will keep working on it forever. But until today, I think we invested maybe something like 4, 5, or 6 man years into it. So a significant investment.
And then during these times, people who contributed to that had another job or were paid already, and then they could survive like spending 6 years, man days working on this?
Yeah, it's a combination again. So some of us have been working for free, others have been paid out of the funds we've been able to raise, depending on the personal situation of people. But I think maybe half of it has been paid or something like that.
Okay, and then who are next? You know, do you have a big pipeline today? So whether it's in real estate or other sectors you are addressing, are you covering other sectors as well?
Yeah, the platform is totally generic and can be used for any kind of purpose. But from a marketing perspective, we are focused on real estate because it's the biggest single market where tokenization can be used, and also tokenization has a really good value proposition in real estate. We generate maybe 2 or 3 or 4 new leads every week from the real estate industry, and it's typically quite large real estate developers who are interested in digitizing and sort of entering the digital world. Right now, they are not able to meet with other investors and developers and shake hands to make the deals. They are not able to take face-to-face meetings, so they are pushed to explore more digital ways of making business. So I think actually even the Corona crisis has been good for our industry. Maybe not in the short term, but certainly in the longer term.
Okay. And then you open the door as well for having like VCs and so on come in the game and then invest in there. And you are looking for a big ticket or?
2 million euros. So it's not so much.
how much represents a deal with this first real estate customer? I mean, for you, is it like a SaaS? They pay for like a SaaS? What's the model? What's your income model?
It's a good question. So right now we use an enterprise software license model where we charge an upfront fee and a running fee, and also a performance fee actually on the funds that are raised. But I think longer term we will switch to a software as a service pricing model. Actually, I think the industry will eventually converge towards that within the next couple of years. So we are starting already to prepare the platform in that direction, so that we can quite easily host many customers at the same time on a single server setup.
Okay. The upfront is related to what? To the kind of implementation work where you need to set it up for someone, right? So that one you need a person, mandate, and they pay for it, and then they pay for a recurrent revenue. When you say running fee, it's like recurrent fee, and then performance. This is complicated to do, right? So you get into questions with them about performance. That makes the contracts very complicated, and you want to simplify that in the future and go only for SaaS.
Yes, quite right. And I think the solution itself will eventually, this type of solution will be commoditized to some degree. So eventually the industry will go in that direction within a couple of years. So we need to be prepared for that, of course.
Okay, interesting. I mean, I would be curious to have a demo to look at that, but I will investigate. So the name of the platform is what?
I shared the link in the website.
Right? Yeah. Okay, so we'll be interested. And then in Switzerland, that's good. This is the country of the blockchain, actually. So it's interesting to have someone there. And then do you have then a team in terms of the go-to-market? You have a team who are prospecting everywhere. How do you fill in your pipeline?
In two ways, actually. So or in three ways, I would say. We do a lot of online marketing, actually, which gives us quite good leads, surprisingly. So people are searching for this kind of stuff. Secondarily, we generate a lot of content. We try to become opinionators in the space and try to produce intelligent content with opinions about where the industry is going and how to do this stuff. And third, we go to conferences. So we don't participate so much in blockchain conferences, but rather in, I would say, fintech, financial services type conferences, because we can meet the clients there.
Okay. Then in terms of further product developments, what are the things that you need to develop in the second or third version or generation of the product that you have, or the platform that you have?
Yeah, it's a very good question. So I just revealed before that we are quite customer driven in our development efforts. So indeed, we are very much influenced on what the customers are requesting. But I can see there is a big trend towards better reporting, better integration with national shareholder registers or taxation, stuff like that. So I think there's a lot of work actually in becoming closer to legislation and taxation and shareholder registers and so forth, in order to be better able to work with institutional type companies, banks and so forth. So I think there will be a lot of effort in that direction, which is maybe not so interesting for blockchain people, but it's necessary for us to work with real live clients.
Okay.
On the blockchain side, go ahead.
Would you partner with other software companies like an SAP or a big financial services company like Finestra, for example, or others?
Yeah, very much. We would certainly do that. So it is something we're working on, actually. But we need to get, I think, a couple of bank clients first before they would speak to us.
Good. That's an exciting story, actually. And that's good that you took the initiative with some of your colleagues to found such a platform. I will look at, try to see, and maybe we can have a follow-up here on this. What's inside this platform that took you like 6 man days, 6 years, man days. and that shows that there is a business for the blockchain, which could be really a good commercial model and could be interesting. And if I think through this network as well of DAO.digital, we have a number of investors who are interested in investing in blockchain, and that could certainly facilitate as well for you to connect with them. And this is why this platform has been formed. The fact that to continue improving the product and maybe having the customers funding some of these improvements also is a good model to avoid a lot of investment out of your pocket.
Yes.
And you make sure as well that the product enhancements that you do fit as well with customer requirements, rather than having just a push, but you have also a pull approach from the customer's requirements.
Yeah, just one last comment. The industry is developing so fast that it's actually difficult for us to predict what will be needed in the future. So we have to listen to the customers, and to a large degree, we have a roadmap, of course, but it's under heavy influence from customer requests.
Perfect.
Thank you.
I think I have a clear picture. I know maybe you have been speaking in different sessions before. You can also say a few words if you would like to add to the foundation here in Netherlands about the blockchain language.
Yes.
And maybe if you are interested in what you heard as well, so maybe make some comments.
Yes. So we deliver a natural blockchain language that solves a few issues. Building blockchains appears to be not so easy. There are not a lot of large blockchains around, and we address those issues. I will name them quickly. For example, a blockchain is a write-once distributed environment. So if you make an error, how do you get rid of this error in such an environment? So the blockchain itself doesn't provide a mechanism for that, and it's quite nasty. You better don't make them on a blockchain. Mm-hmm. So we offer then a machine-generated language. It's a compiler, and machine-generated code generated by using mathematics is basically error-free. So, well, we suggest to put this language on top of the blockchain. Another issue it solves is that blockchain is also all about compliance and certification and all kind of what we call business stuff. So it should be handled and programmed by those who want to sign those contracts or digital laws. And that is business people, consultants. So the blockchain should be made in a conference room and not in the cellar by programmers, we believe. So and our language is understandable, readable, and verifiable by those who basically build blockchains. It's a business process modeling language, so that's also how you could describe it. So, well, the proof is in the pudding, of course. If you look at our code, our blockchain language, it's easy, reasonable. It's a structured natural language. It's not a full natural language. It's not to write poems, but it's something like the Code Civil or a legal language. It's a subset of the natural language. And the benefit is then a structured smart contract. So that's what you use. So some cases I would like to mention. We were working on this, for example, on Malta. The government basically got along with this idea, and they drafted in the draft legislation the two laws that basically said, well, if something is written in pure mathematics or in this language, because our language is driven by first order predicate logic, so it's pure mathematics. And although readable, then the court will look at that. And that is, of course, quite a big thing because, well, Malta is part of Europe, and then when Malta is going to accept it, and all the other courts will have to look at such a smart contract. And that solves a lot of issues, because then you easily can verify it, and you don't need a lot of audits of that. So that's an example how we like to position our language. We also believe that the compiler is a kind of technology that sees that all goes through. So that is where you shield the intellectual property. So imagine that in a few years from now, Google comes with a kind of solution. They do not have it now. I like to stress that you can speak to Google and they translate it into computer language. It would be easy. It would also be something like when you insert into Google Translate one computer language, you get back another one. We all know that that doesn't work because this engine that Google has is based on artificial intelligence, just guessing something. You're never sure. You always have to check the translations. But our compiler is based on a translation function. I best describe it in the following way. If I give you the dictionary, the grammar and the ontology of one language and the other one, and you make a function in between, then the translation is always correct. So this is a kind of formal verification. So then the translation is correct. So if you wait, maybe I finish this point. So basically, if you would wait till Google comes with something like this, then you have to accept, of course, the terms of Google, and you lose your intellectual property. That's the point I wanted to make with this case. And of course, if you are a large industrial or you are a country, you like to keep your intellectual property. You should own your own language. That was my stance. So when we provide that, we like to bring compilers to strategic partners, industries, countries, to cover their wants and needs and the things for their specific domain or their intellectual property. Yes, a break maybe.
I think, yeah, I got to know now very well. Of course, you know, if you wait for Google, they might do it, and then it's good to have an alternative and not give everything to Google. I think your pitch and your participation every time to bring that message is also useful for the others. We did have Claus who had to run actually out, finished his pitch, and we are now with Dimitri and you. I think I will take this opportunity to thank you for your repeating engagement here and participating and your interest as well, and bringing also the message and listening to the others. And maybe ask you a question is, what do you think about from the different sessions you have seen and the other speakers, all of that, or the quality of the speakers and the content? What do you think of that? It's good, it's helpful?
Yes, shall I? Well, I really like that. For example, last speaker, I like the tips I heard from about pitching were also very valuable, and I also really love your questions. And it's nicely sharp. So yes, true. It's
very good. Very good. So I think it's you know, every time I do this session, I see also new speakers who come from different angles and different background. I think now we started having, you know, a good number of speakers, entrepreneurs, investors coming here, and we keep learning. And I think at the end we can do fantastic things out of this community. I think Dimitri, you will tell more in the next days about, you know, the live event on the 21st of May and the next days, and then take it from there. Do you like to conclude with some words, Dimitri?
Yeah, thank you. Arnoud, can I ask you a little favor, please? Could you create probably a small article about the topic that you're passionate about the blockchain language? Because this question is kind of bit of difficult to understand from the on the hearing from or just listening for that topic. If you could add a few examples that could be valuable for understanding your topic, and that could be more valuable for others for understanding.
Yes, sure.
If you have any articles ready, you can just send it to me, and I will publish it on DAO.digital and attach to your speaking, so that would be more valuable for everyone who will be.
I will do so. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Perfect.
So
I think I like the session, Dimitri. You can take it from there, and then, you know, see if the whole recording and cloud and things worked well. And I'm looking forward for the next sessions.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.